Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian pop.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का नंबर 1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com. The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Hello everyone, my name is Jadoo. I'm the group editor at Y Media and today we have a very special guest here in our studios. But before I introduce the guest, we will be talking about investment. If you're planning to invest or you've already invested anywhere, whether it's stock market, mutual funds or anywhere else, and especially there are many questions regarding crypto these days. So we have the person who is authorized to talk all about this, and we hear a lot of stories about fraud as well. So if you want yourself to save yourself from fraud, where do you want to invest? This is the show you definitely don't want to miss. We have Tyler Fleming. He is the director at OSC. Tyler, a very warm welcome on Y Media. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Tyler, first of all, I want to know about your organization just for viewers' benefit.
For sure. So I'm with the Ontario Securities Commission. We're the independent government agency responsible for overseeing the investment industry and the capital markets here in Ontario. Our mandate includes protecting investors, fostering fair, efficient, and competitive capital markets, fostering capital formation, and also the prevention of systemic risk. My group at the OSC is the Investor Office. We are responsible for conducting investor policy, conducting investor research, but also educating people about their finances and helping them protect against fraud.
That's precisely the reason that we want to discuss this topic. And first of all, thanks for taking out that time. What is your organization doing to protect people from fraud? And of course, you would like to share some stats on that as well.
For sure. So we do a lot to protect people against fraud. My group engages with investors that give them information on how to protect their money, including spotting the warning signs of fraud. I know we'll be speaking more about that today. But the OSC also has an enforcement branch, which is responsible for investigating and addressing issues of fraud and misconduct. We work closely with our law enforcement and policing partners, including here in Peel Region, as well as the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Ontario Provincial Police, and Toronto Police Service, and others.
All right. Warning signs about fraud. I want to know what are the warning signs. One of that, I'm not an expert, but I definitely know is too good to be true. But still people fall for it. We hear that stories all the time. We'll give you a return of 40%, 50%, 100%, or maybe 200%. So this is one thing. But two-part question. What are the warning signs of fraud and why still people fall for it?
Yeah, well, it's important to say that anyone can become a victim of fraud. The fraudsters are always looking for ways to separate you from your hard-earned money, and they're always trying to stay ahead of it. And so even though there are different types of frauds, different type of products they might approach you with, we do say there are often some common warning signs of fraud that people should be aware of. So you mentioned too good to be true. If someone's offering you high returns that are guaranteed with little to no risk, that is a big red flag of fraud. Generally, high returns come with higher potential returns come with higher risk. And so if someone's saying it's guaranteed, you get high returns, you'll get it for sure, without any risk, that's a big red flag. Some other common warning signs of fraud, including if you're being pressured to buy or make a decision on the spot. For legitimate investment opportunities, you have time to make a decision. You have time to think about it, to do your research, to do your homework before making a decision. Another warning sign of fraud is if someone's offering you insider information to make an investment. So if they're saying it's a hot tip or only a select few insiders know that, it's important to remember that insider trading is illegal here in Ontario. So if someone's offering you that as the basis for an investment, that's a big red flag. And then the last red flag I'll say is if the person offering you an investment or investment advice is not registered with the Ontario Securities Commission, that's a big red flag. Anyone who's offering investment advice or selling an investment must be registered with us at the Ontario Securities Commission. And so if they're not, that's generally a big red flag of fraud.
Right. And you just now used a word, sometimes people use this word, I'm guaranteeing you this much return on this one. So can they really guarantee? Usually I tell people, either he or she is God or they're insider trader, which is definitely illegal. So can anyone really guarantee? That's question part one. And just for our viewers' benefit, if you could explain why insider trading, what is this all about and why it's a fraud?
Sure. So there are guaranteed investments like GICs, and it's called Guaranteed Investment Certificate. But they generally come with lower returns. So if you have the safety of an investment, generally you're going to have a lower potential return. So generally investments with higher potential returns come with higher risk. And so if they're saying it's guaranteed high returns and you'll get it for sure with no risk, that's a big red flag. So insider trading involves people sharing information that's not available to the public. As part of the investor protection framework, companies and investment opportunities are required to disclose to the public material information or other information such that everyone has the same information when making an investment decision. And so if someone's offering you information not available to other people, that's likely because they're offside of securities rules and is a warning sign of fraud.
All right. At this point, I really want to thank you for taking your time today, because this is the first time anybody has approached South Asian community being one of the largest ethnic community in Canada. And I won't even, as much as we hear all the time about OSC, but I have not interviewed anybody. So I'd like to thank you, Tyler, and your entire organization that yes, you're coming in here. So what are you and your organization members doing to reach out to different diverse and ethnic communities who definitely want to be, investing, but they also want to stay protected?
Yeah, it's a great question, and thank you again for having me today. We do a lot of work to reach out to investors all across the province and meet people where they are, including speaking in their own language. So we have a lot of resources available online and through other channels that can help people with their money and protect against fraud. Our main website is getsmarteraboutmoney.ca. It's Canada's most visited financial education website, used by millions of people every year. But we also have resources available in multiple languages, including Hindi, Punjabi, and Urdu, among others. So one of our main websites in multiple languages is called investingintroduction.ca. Again, it's investingintroduction.ca. It's available in 22 languages. There's information there on investing in Ontario, what you need to know about protections that are in place, warning signs of fraud, and also about the Ontario Securities Commission and how to contact us. We also actually do a lot of activities and events with groups all across the province. Some of the events we've recently held with South Asian groups include the Indus Community Services, the Punjabi Community Health Services here in Peel, as well as groups in Windsor, Ottawa, and York region. So we go out and meet with the community. We have a lot of information online and through social media, as I mentioned, including in Hindi, Punjabi, and Urdu.
Wow, that's great. You're seeing the address on the screen right now, and you can log on to this website in case you need any tools in Hindi, Punjabi, Urdu. And of course, there are tools available in English as well on the main website. But yes, go, do your research, and these are the tools which will help you protect. Just this morning, I was looking at the news and, grandparents scam. There's so many scams going on, and certain scams which target certain ethnic communities. It's very common in certain communities. Can you tell us about that?
For sure. So one thing we see a lot of is what's called affinity fraud, and this is where someone is approached through a community or cultural affiliation, such as a temple, mosque, or church. Might be through a sports organization, other community group, but they reach out through shared networks and affiliation, and often it can be through the South Asian community through different channels. And what people do is gain your trust. If you're new to Canada or don't have as established a network here, it can be easier to seek out people who you have something in common with, and that's often through cultural affiliation. So fraudsters know this. They can spend a lot of time gaining your trust before they perpetrate a fraud, and that's why it's important for people to always remember what some of the warning signs are. Another type of fraud that we often see targeting the South Asian community is what's called a grandparent scam. So this is where someone is contacted by someone pretending to be, say, a grandson or granddaughter. They could contact any person pretending to be their relative, but they say they're in trouble with the law or other sort of trouble, and they need money sent to them right away. And the problem is someone might not recognize the voice on the phone right away. They put pressure on the victim to make a decision on the spot to send money right away, and they often say, because they're trying to gain your trust, they say, don't tell mom, don't tell dad, don't tell so-and-so, please just help me out. I need to get out of trouble. And so that is something we see a lot of as well. There's also some common scams and frauds that are impersonating government agencies like the Canada Revenue Agency. You might get text messages or phone calls putting a lot of pressure on you, and that's something we see a lot of in South Asian communities as well.
Yeah. So what are you doing for that? Because certain times what happens is, because we try to investigate why this is happening, and some of these frauds are happening from overseas. They're not even from Canada. So what can we do about that?
Well, so at the Ontario Securities Commission, we do a lot to educate people about fraud and ways to protect themselves. And we talked about some of the common warning signs of fraud earlier. At the OSC, we also do a lot with our enforcement branch to investigate and address issues of fraud. And that includes working with our counterparts across the world, because you're right, there are a lot of frauds and scams that are based elsewhere in other countries. So we need to work together with our enforcement partners around the world, as well as here in Ontario. So people, we have some tips. Again, don't feel pressured to make a decision on the spot. Take the time you need. It's also important to do your homework. So if someone is giving you information and saying trust them, you don't need to look elsewhere, don't feel you have to listen to that. It's always okay to either hang up the phone or take some time to do your own research through other websites that are trusted and well-known, including our website at the Ontario Securities Commission, or Get Smarter About Money, which is our investor website.
Right. And in these uncertain times, many people are concerned that we have invested in the stock market. So what's your advice for them?
Well, it's really troubled times right now when it comes to our finances and the economy. Yeah. So inflation is really high. People are looking for ways to protect their money. People are losing their jobs. Housing is going down. And the stock market has been volatile. There's been periods where it's gone up a lot, gone down again, and more recently, a more turbulent time. So people are really concerned about their finances. We have a lot of resources on our website, getsmarteraboutmoney.ca, hundreds of tools and articles to help people with their money. When it comes to investments, I guess some things I would say with your audience now is there's a few tips we might share. So number one, it's important to keep focused on the long term. So if you are investing for retirement, try to not get swept up in emotion and day-to-day events. Remember to stay focused on the long term. Also consider whether your personal or financial circumstances have changed. So whether it's your income or your goals with investment, important to review that from time to time to see if you need to make any changes in your portfolio. And the other thing I'd say is, if you don't already, consider getting professional financial advice. There are different types of advisors out there who are registered with the Ontario Securities Commission. They have different degrees of training. There's lots of different types of advisors out there, but they may be able to help you navigate these turbulent times. So encourage you to check out our website, Get Smarter About Money, for information.
All right. This begs a very quick question from my side. Anybody can claim that, yes, I'm registered, I'm this, I have this thing. Now, who's going to check them? Am I registered with the OSC, or is OSC really, monitoring everything? So if someone comes to me, I'm a registered financial planner, and he says, okay, I said, okay, fine. Now, do I have any tool? Can I go on a website to check this person is registered somewhere, or he's being regulated by someone?
Absolutely. So there's a registry of all individuals who are registered. People can visit the website checkbeforeyouinvest.ca. That's where you can find it online. But you can also call the Ontario Securities Commission, and we can help answer that question. We can look into whether they are registered or not. We can answer any other questions you may have. Our phone number is 1-877-785-1555. Again, 1-877-785-1555. They can help you with any sort of question, and also answer your questions in multiple languages.
Wow, I think that is a great help right now. Anytime you think there are certain red flags, or if you have any concerns with your financial planner or the person who you're investing your money, the number is on your screen right now. Call this number and check out before you invest, in case you have any concerns at all. Another very important thing is crypto. As much as I try to read, Financial Times, watch BNN, so many other things, but crypto is one area where I must say this, that I'm not very clear on this one, and I'm sure there'll be many others who would want to invest. We hear people made billions of dollars, suddenly $16 billion for one person wiped away. So there's a lot of confusion. Should we invest, or what are the precautions we should take?
Yeah, so this is an area where we get a lot of questions. There's a lot of interest. In recent years, we've seen a significant market increase, and then in the spring, a significant decline. And obviously, the last couple of weeks have had a lot of media attention because of the FTX collapse and related repercussions. So we do a lot of education when it comes to crypto. We have a website called GetSmarterAboutCrypto.ca that's just on this topic. It contains information for people on what crypto is, how to trade it, also some warning signs of fraud, but also highlighting the importance of only working with a registered crypto asset trading platform in Ontario. There are 10 registered crypto firms here in Ontario. It's really important that people work with those registered firms, because registration means that we know who they are, we know what they're doing, they are subject to the regulatory framework that's in place, and there are protections in case something goes wrong and people need to get their money back. So it's important to always work with a registered crypto trading platform.
All right. And, in this day of online investment, there are many people who would claim anything online. So how can we protect ourselves from all these investments, which could be very lucrative when you look at that these are, this seems to be nice, very tempting online.
Yeah, there's all sorts of places people get information, and social media and ads are always in our face, and often it's with celebrity endorsements. Tom Brady endorsed FTX, Kim Kardashian, others have as well. There's also sorts of financial influencers online who are giving advice, and some of it's good, but a lot of it is not. And so it's important for people to, again, do their homework. You can visit our website, Get Smarter About Money, to get additional information. Really important that you don't just take what you see at face value, and you do your research to make sure what you're seeing is true, including if they're offering an investment opportunity. Don't be swayed by celebrity endorsements or influencers. Do your own homework and make sure you know what the investment is about.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because every third video that I see on TikTok is someone, giving tips on investment. But they could be true. But yes, of course, there's a fair chance that they may not be really knowing. So the website is on your screen. The phone numbers are consistently on your screen. So you can log on to this website, call these numbers just in case you have anything. And celeb endorsements may not really be enough. Do your own research on this one. Generally speaking, how can our viewers protect themselves from fraud?
So again, it's important to recognize the common warning signs, and we talked about a few of them earlier, including promises of high return with little to no risk, being pressured to make a decision on the spot, and if the person is not registered with the Ontario Securities Commission. So that's really important. But again, always do your homework, always understand the investment that you are being offered. There's lots of resources on our website, GetSmarterAboutMoney.ca. So again, always be vigilant, because again, it can happen to anybody. Just so you know, last year, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre reported that Canadians reported over $381 million in fraud. Over about half of that was investment fraud. And in this year, 2022, by September, the same amount as all of last year has already been reached. So this year sees even more fraud, and it's an underreported crime, right? We know that people can often be ashamed when they become a victim of fraud. They are embarrassed. They don't want to tell their family or their friends. And the thing is, though, that if it's happened to you, there's nothing to be ashamed about. It's probably happening to other people as well. And so we'd really encourage people to contact the Ontario Securities Commission as soon as possible. Let us know about it. Maybe there's something we can do to stop the fraud from happening to others. And if we know about it, maybe there's a way to address your issues. So please contact the Ontario Securities Commission. Again, our phone number is 1-877-785-1555.
All right. Last two questions. One is this, that yes, there are many financial advisors available these days. So what is OSC's role, and what are the tools available? How can we make sure that yes, this financial advisor is good for me, he's registered, whatever he's talking, it makes sense, and from the regulatory perspective as well?
Yeah, so advisors are required to be registered with the regulators. So on our website, you can verify that they are in fact registered. They are who they say they are. You can also find out if they have any disciplinary history. So if they've been in trouble before, before with the regulator, their record will show that. So it's important to know who you're dealing with. We also have information on our website, Get Smarter About Money, on the different types of advisors. There's a lot of different ones out there, and they come with different training, different skills, and different permissions in terms of what they can do in engaging with you on your finances. So we've got information on how to ask them questions, what sort of questions you should ask, what different types of advisors there are, and just generally ways to be informed when you're engaging with an advisor.
Right. And when do you think, if any of our viewers are watching, that yes, now this is the time to get in touch with OSC? When should they contact you?
Yeah, great question. Contact us anytime. So any question you have, our team can help answer your questions. They can also help you determine if your advisor is registered, like I mentioned. But also, if you have any complaint or problem, or you've seen a fraud or become a victim of fraud, please contact us right away. Again, if it's happening to you, it's probably happening to someone else, and maybe there's something we can do to address it. But contact us anytime. We're happy to help and answer any questions people have.
Tyler, I try to cover as much as possible. Just anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Again, just please reach out to us anytime. Our main website, though, is Get Smarter About Money. Hundreds of tools, articles, and calculators to help you with your money and protect against fraud.
All right, Tyler Fleming, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I hope this information was quite sufficient and quite interesting as well. Hopefully, we will carry on the discussion with the members at OSC. And thank you so much for joining us at Y Media. Thank you.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you're watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian pop.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan, and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का नंबर 1 रेडियो स्टेशन FM 91.9
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com. The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.